Good morning, my lovely ladies, and welcome to Phoenix Rising Women's Group. Today, I have the fantastic pleasure and honor of hanging out with my new friend and slightly less new friend, Isabell Rodriguez and Margaret Baudinet.
Baudinet.
I totally messed it up. French. Baudinet. I apologize. So Isabell obviously is a brand new mom. She has this beautiful little one with us today, and we're all about just like hanging out and being real humans. And then Margaret has she quintuplets. She has 4 babies. And she did 5. Sorry, I was like 5. I was like, you put 4 and then there's 5. Yeah, sorry. And I was like quint, and then I saw 4, and then I was confused. And I'm so glad that you corrected me there. Thank you for that. And she started her business when they were 3. So I'm really excited to get to just jump in and have this conversation about the struggles that new moms have, especially when they're entrepreneurs, and the reality of what people don't often bring up in conversation having to do with all of that. So ladies, if you would like to introduce yourselves further and talk a little bit about the businesses that you do, yeah, go for it.
Go ahead, Isabel, you first.
Okay, yeah. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on this this Zoom call right now. I'm super, super happy to be here. This is baby Ian. He is 13 weeks old. And he's a little bit cranky today, so we're just going to do the best that we can. Yes. So yeah, I am Isabel Rodriguez. I'm originally from Sweden. I live in beautiful Costa Rica. I am married 7 years, and this is our first son. I just, got into this motherhood, and I had no idea what I'm doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just taking day by day, but I'm an entrepreneur. I own my own business, Rebuild Your Life mentorship program for women who have been through traumatic events. And then I also do millionaires masterminds together with my husband here. So we do mastermind retreats, and this year, actually, I started my own mastermind retreats for women specifically that wants to heal, wants to grow, and find a sisterhood. And all of this is in Costa Rica. And actually, we're taking it to the States now in January. So it's actually amazing. We're going to Florida. So I'm super excited for that.
I'm going to totally come see you. I'm going to drive my happy ass down to Florida, and I'm going to come see you.
It's a life transformative retreat. Like, it will change your life. We have had 2 retreats, and we have had from the first retreat that I had in May and the last one we had in October, we had people coming back, and they were like, it's amazing. We do some sound healing, cacao ceremonies. We have spa nights. We have experts coming in from around the world. We have had experts like Forbes Riley, Ashley Black, fitness model and Instagram famous Lauren Drain. Like, it's been absolutely incredible learning from these incredible women. So that is absolutely amazing. And also, little baby Ian has been with me. He was in my belly in May. So the people who was there actually got to meet him live in October. So it's been a lot of things I've been doing since I became a mom. And it's definitely challenging. So I'm very excited and happy that you created this space for us women to come and actually talk about the real stuff, because it's not just, all these fairy tales and all of these dreams, running your own business and having babies. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I am just so impressed with other women that I get to meet at these retreats, but also by myself, holding this fort up, doing all these things. Like, we women, we are so freaking strong. That is something I've learned. And I look up to all these women who has like 5 babies, and doing their own thing. Like, it's incredible how we can just run all these things, being wives, and doing all these things. I'm just impressed. So thank you for actually having this conversation right now.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I mean, thank you for making the ask. I remember I just like randomly seen one of your lives, and you were just being so vulnerable and being like, I am struggling. And just be like, where are the other like moms out there to just like have like real talk? Like, this is life. And so oftentimes I feel like as entrepreneurs, they're just like, put on your strong face and just like pull your bootstraps up and just like keep trucking along, and don't show the weakness and the vulnerability and the struggles and sadness or like sickness or like whatever comes up. And I'm just like, yeah, no, that's not real. Like, let's come together in community with like love and grace and forgiveness of ourselves and other people, and like let go of the expectations and the ego. And I'm not a mom, but I have so much respect for what it is that like mothers do. I think y'all are superheroes. I swear to God. Like, I dated a guy for like a hot minute, and he had a 10-year-old. Like, those things are like fully functional, y'all. Like,
Yeah.
and his the guy, his dad had a heart attack, and so he had to like step up and run the business. And this guy barely knew me, and he literally like handed his kid off to me. And I was recovering from a head injury at the time, and I was home. And so and all I did was like pick the kid up from school, like take him to school in the morning, pick him up, and I'd help him with homework and teach him. And I taught him how to cook and do archery and like other fun stuff. And after like 2 weeks of that, I had like a whole new respect for mothers. And that was just like a 10-year-old. And also I was in my 30s, and I was like, I am so good to never have kids. Like, I love children. I wanted to have 4 kids for my whole like life. I went to college for 10 years to become a teacher so that I could ideally like be a stay-at-home mom and then get to go like and teach and have a job so that I could be not understanding the hours that teachers put in. By the way, it's like not reality for me. And then I was like, no, I would have been struggling because at my age, so many women were having children, and I was like, I don't have a partner. I don't know when I'm going to get to have kids. And then I had that kid for 2 weeks, and I was like, I would make an amazing mother, and I would be totally like good with that. But now I'm also like 100% okay just being a kick-ass aunt and like never having children.
I totally get it.
Which was such a gift, you know, to be like this, but also like this over here. So super grateful to step forward and like hold the space for you and come forward and like have these beautiful conversations of grace.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're so very welcome. And Margaret, I cannot wait to hear your story of having 5 children. Like when you wrote that, when I posted that up in the Boss Babes of like, who has kids? And I was just like, wait, what?
It is a crazy story. I guess I'm 36 now, and we started trying to have kids. I'm married, and we started trying to have kids around 10 years ago, and had to suffer 2 miscarriages in the beginning and didn't really know which way to turn. And doctors recommended that we get on Clomid, which most women know is a pill that makes you ovulate. Because they thought maybe she's not ovulating. This is the problem. We'll fix her, you know, modern medicine, whatever that is. And so they warned me, like, you might have twins, you might have triplets. And I thought, like, I can handle that. Like, I'm organized. I could do this. Like, two kids, 2 hands, big deal. And when I got pregnant again, I knew I was really, really sick in the beginning and felt horrible, just like death. And we were actually in Bar Harbor for a vacation, and I started having some bleeding. And so I went to the hospital, which is a tiny hospital in Bar Harbor. It's like a cottage. It's adorable, but it's not the place I'd really want, you know, to have my baby or babies. And I went in for a sonogram, having already had 2 miscarriages. Sonograms are pretty scary. And the person doing the sonogram started laughing, which not super professional, if you ask me. Laughter is not something you do to a woman who has suffered intense grief. And she started counting. 1, 2, 3. I was like, okay, 3. Okay, fine. No big deal. We have family. Like, it's fine. 4, maybe 5. Can't quite tell, but definitely more than 3. Okay. This is different. So we came home from Bar Harbor and saw our doctors. They confirmed it was 5. And immediately started to strongly encourage us to what they call reduce. Reduce is aborting the weakest of the children. So they would measure the children and measure their heartbeats and kind of see which one was the weakest. And they kept apologizing because they kept saying, "I'm so sorry, all of your babies are healthy." Which is so funny to say to a mom who's lost 2 children, just to say that. And so we just decided it was time to change doctors and change paths a little bit. And so we decided to keep all 5. And we started interviewing doctors all around the nation. There's not a lot of doctors who have dealt with quintuplets. As much as I love UVA Hospital, they were very clear that they did not have a lot of experience with this. We interviewed some doctors at Columbia. We interviewed some doctors at Emory. And most of them would say we had 2 sets of quints and they all had cerebral palsy, or a couple of them died, a couple of them had blindness. Some scary stuff, and not outcomes that we'd like to repeat. So we finally came across this doctor in Newsweek, who lives in Arizona. His name is Dr. John Elliott, and he had delivered 21 sets of quintuplets. And we called him, and he actually answered the phone and talked to us for like an hour on a Thursday night, and said to me and my husband of like, "I can do this. I can get you through this. I will get you past 30 weeks. They will not have cerebral palsy. They will not have blindness, but I need you to move to Arizona." So we literally asked our bosses if we could work remotely. Both of us had great bosses, and we worked remotely. We dropped everything. We took the dog and we moved to Arizona for 9 months. We lived in an Airbnb. And the only thing I could do every day was swim. That's all I was allowed to do because it's Arizona and it's hot. And I got to 32 weeks, which was a victory. I mean, 24 is viability. 26 is like probably going to make it. 28's like they're probably going to be relatively okay. And then after that, it gets better. So 32 was good. The delivery was terrifying. It was not special. It was not meaningful. It was, my doctor actually called me a clown car. That was the term he used for me because they kept coming out, which he thought was really funny, but sensitivity training might be in order there. But being called a clown, there was just so many experiences that as a woman going through this, it was like, wow, that really hurt. I don't even know what to do with that. So I came home and had 5 infants, and we had 2 au pairs, and one of them was from Sweden and one was from Germany. Brand new Europeans I'd never met before, never laid eyes before. And then here they were to help me take care of my infants. But they were amazing. I mean, they worked 4 a.m. shifts. They worked midnight shifts. They were just incredible. We're still friends. We're all going to Disney World this year. So that was, that got us through the first couple of years. And now they are about to turn 5. And I started my business when they were about 2.5, almost 3. And I've been working on the business ever since.
It's just like, I'm just like,
Wow.
yeah, just like jaw dropping, just like amazing. We're like, when's your book coming out? Is there a movie coming? Like, I need to know. So
That's insane. That is such a great work. Like, I'm so impressed right now. Like, I am struggling with one child and I'm sometimes ripping my hair off and I'm thinking, what the heck am I doing?
Oh, I felt that way every day. But I mean, and it was a different child and I didn't know how to help any of them. So I felt 5 times as behind. It wasn't like I knew any better or did anything better. But then I had everyone saying to me, "Oh, just wait till they're teething. That'll be really bad. Oh, just wait till they're potty training. That'll be worse." And I'm like, this is
like,
not productive.
You're not helping you guys. Like,
so it's just the power of
ominous, like, commentary.
Yeah, I have learned with new mothers and my friends who have become mothers and mothers that I have a blog, and a lot of mothers read my blog, and we meet on the streets or at the park, and just the power of words with women and with mothers is a real thing. And what you say to them and how you say it to them is so powerful. And not just saying like, "Oh, you got this," like that's fine if that's all you have to say, but just not bringing up negative connotations is really important. I mean, a new mom is already scared of tomorrow. much less the next phase or the next phase. So just helping her focus on what's important about today and getting through the next feed is really what's most important. At least that's what I found.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you bringing that forward. I feel like we should just like plaster that all over the place. Like honestly, yeah, my sister-in-law gave birth yesterday to her third child. It's my fifth kiddo that I get to be an aunt for, and it was a cesarean, and she was on bed rest for the beginning sort of that pregnancy, and it was at risk, and the little one was breech, and the scar, she had adhered to the scar tissue of the C-section from the last baby that had been born.
Oh, gracious.
Yeah, and she was basically, so she was breech, and so she's basically like on top of her cervix, like.
Ow.
Yeah. And so they were really concerned about the viability to be at risk. And they're just like, don't move a lot, because she had been at, I think, Disney World, and she had started to bleed. And they took great care of her at Disney World. So if anybody's ever at Disney World when they're pregnant and you're worried about something bad happening, they're going to do a great job for you. And they weren't sure how far that she would make. They're just like, yeah, it was always just like, just try and make it a little bit farther, just try and make it a little bit farther, and hopefully you will make it to term. And she made it full term and had a scheduled C-section yesterday.
Congratulations. Go girl.
Yeah, it was amazing. And yeah, just so many different concerns that come up with that. But the doctors say that she's amazing, little Alice, and she's doing great.
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
I feel like the sense of inadequacy and nervousness about being a mother transfers into being an entrepreneur. I was not an entrepreneur before this. I do not have a degree in business. My degree is in rhetoric. So
a degree in rhetoric. Hold on. For a lot of people out there might not know. They're like, what on earth is a degrry? It's like, elaborate that real quick. And
yeah,
then
just how people talk. Just how people talk is what I say. But when I bought the business, I'd been with the business that I own now for about 8 years, and the owner was ready to retire. And so I bought it from him, but had no experience in business. And so I think for women who are out there who think, maybe I could own my own business, or maybe I could start my own business, the answer is you can. There are smart people who you can assemble a team around you who will advise you. You just have to know when to ask questions, which for me was all the time of like, I don't understand this word, or you just said 5 words that I don't understand altogether, especially for accounting and lawyers and all of those people. You can find people to help you. I think I was worried about like, I don't know anything about that stuff. Find people that you trust and work with them, work as a team. But that sense of inadequacy that you feel as a mom, that I felt as a mom, kind of carried over into the beginning of my entrepreneurship of like, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. There's no way I'm going to know enough or speak the right language or know, what any of those things mean. It's really a team effort, and you just need to find good people to work with.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. What do you think, Isabel?
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Yeah, because in the beginning, it's like, how will you know anything? You only know what you know, but outsourcing people is super, super important because you cannot know it all. Mm-hmm. But certain people know certain things, especially in your business, like outsourcing those kind of things to make it easier for you so you can actually focus on your strength and what you are actually good at. Yeah. So you don't get distracted and have to do it all, because I do believe as women also that we have that thing that we want to do it all. We don't want to need help. We want to just be the power source of everything, but it's just not going to be enough. It's just not going to be a good end results, because we're not going to put the energy and be able to do the effort required to actually make that change, or have what we actually really want if we don't ask for help. So I think that is an incredible advice, like ask for help, ask all the time, because that is also how we get better. If we live in our ego and be like, no, I can do it, or, you know, I'm not going to be weak and ask for help, because it's not a weakness. It's actually a strength, being able to say, hey, I need help, or crying, or just like reaching out, like I did on live. Like I was doing my 30-day challenge, trying to get back in shape. As soon as my doctor was like, okay, you can do it now, because I had a C-section. And training for me is like the most important thing. So standing there, and I was like, I haven't slept. I barely have time to eat. I having like 5 meetings a day, and I'm trying to put up this retreat on my own, and, you know, just standing there asking for help. Like I want to get in contact with other moms. Like, how do you do this? Like, you know, having a baby is like, it's the most amazing things in the world, but it's also one of the scariest thing I've ever done. Like, I have no idea if I'm doing this correctly. I don't know, you know, I'm like, why is he crying? You know, and everybody's like, you will know, it's your baby. You will know. No, heck no. You will not know in the first weeks. You have no idea what the heck is going on. Like, why is he crying? Is it diaper? Is he hungry? What's going on? You know? So I think like surrounding yourself with women that has done it before you. So ask the right questions. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Margaret, I just loved your face while she was saying that. You're just like, yeah, no, you're not going to know.
I don't manage my face well. My emotions are all over my face. I think there is a loneliness in motherhood and in entrepreneurship that is similar. As a new mother, I felt alone in that, you know, there were mothers who were looking at me differently. Like I would go to the mall and one person asked me if all of my kids were from the same father. Which, you know, like doesn't happen a lot to most women, but I'm like, no, my husband went wild one night and I just have all these kids. Like,
you're like, I just adopted all of the babies. They're like all of the other women had, because they're just like, we don't want any of this. But
yeah. So I just didn't have that sense of like, I'm going to take my baby to the grocery store and people are going to look at it and think, oh, how sweet. Like I felt lonely because I couldn't have that kind of experience. And like Isabel said, like, I didn't know what was wrong. And so I felt lonely in that these other mothers seemed to have it all together and they knew what bottle warmer to use and they like had their diapers all picked out. And I was still like trying out different brands and all the creams, like which cream is the right cream? I don't know. I still don't know. And my babies are 5 almost. So I think the loneliness is a deep loneliness of, why don't I know the answers? And that's why as moms, I think we have to be really honest of like, hey, what cream do you use? Like mine doesn't work and it's terrible. But otherwise, if you say, oh, everything's fine, it's not fine. I hate the word fine. Please, I can't use that word because everything's not fine. Something's bothering you. So just be real about it.
You know what that word stands for, right?
No.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is such a funny joke. FINE stands for fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
I love that. I love that. No, I really love that. And that's so true. It's so true. I mean, some days you might feel, okay, I have things together. And then the next second you're like, no shit. No.
No.
I take that back. And I do believe that it's really important because I felt like in the beginning, I really felt like I lost a little bit of me. Like I used to be able to do a morning routine. Like my morning routine was insane. Like it was 3 to 4 hours a day. Like I meditated for 1 hour each morning. And then I trained, I went for a run, you know, I did yoga, I did all of those things. And then I jumped on calls. I was up at, 4:30 every morning, took a run on the beach and everything. And I felt like, okay, now I've started to get back to my morning routine and everything, like trying to at least have time for myself. I do believe that's one of the most important things that you need to do and take take responsibility for, because if you're not okay, your baby's not going to be okay. Because if you don't have the energy, you're not going to be able to put the energy in the right places. So I do believe like recharging your batteries whenever you can. And I know that people like sleep when the baby sleeps. I never slept when the baby slept. I mean, come on. I was like, my bags under my eyes. I was like, I want to sleep. I can't. So instead, what I was doing was like, okay, I can't sleep. So what can I do? I can read a book to learn more things. I can watch a YouTube video from other moms. I can take a bath, shave my legs. I mean, you know, whatever makes me feel good. Or I can put makeup on and I can make that YouTube video, for instance. Whatever it can be that you know will benefit you, your business, yourself, your family, do it when you can. Because I mean, it's not easy, and I cannot even imagine you with 5 babies. Like, okay, I have like 5 minutes over, and then the other one wakes up, and who knows, you know, I have one child, so at least when he's asleep, I'm like, okay, going for a shower, showering my hair, you know, at least those type of things. So I do believe those are super necessary when you are a new mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. And what came to mind that's interesting is that I feel like a lot of women who are entrepreneurs are oftentimes really heavily leaning into their masculine energy versus their feminine energy, right? And we're like in the hustle a whole bunch. And then trying to, like, you give birth and you're like, bam, you're in it, right? You're in that feminine energy of like the nurturing and like the it's all over there. And if you are radically flipping from one to the other and then trying to find balance, like, how do you do that? So I imagine that could be rather jarring.
Yeah, I definitely had some people who worried about my ability to be in business. I mean, after I came back from my pregnancy, there were people who were like, "Are you okay? Like, can you still work?"
Yeah, and I don't feel like that at all, because like I definitely believe that that we can be incredibly successful in business in our feminine energy. Like, that's actually what I've dedicated this last year to for myself, because I've spent so much of my life as an entrepreneur really heavily in my masculine energy and in the hustle and everything else. And I was like, no, I want to show myself that I can be successful in the feminine, in the flow. And I did that, and I did the morning routine like Isabel was talking about. And I actually had the highest grossing month of my career in August in my feminine, which was like which is really beautiful to get to do, especially having just moved into a new place and been here for just a handful of months. So I just want to put that out there for any women working, is that like, as entrepreneurs, you can honor the feminine inside you and the flow and the nurturing, and hold the boundaries for your space, and honor whatever your circadian rhythm is, and still be incredibly successful in whatever it is that your profession is. So if that helps to assuage any fears of being like, but I've been doing this so long and I've been nurturing my family and caring, and what will other people think? And the mask can be like, no, you do you. Be your beautiful, authentic self and step into that space. And
I see it as an asset. I really do. I mean, I am a college counselor, so families pay my staff and I to help them get into college and find scholarships.
awesome.
And I feel like my feminine energy and the feminine energy of those that I work with who are female, the nurturing side of us really supports the students that we work with. And I think we lean into that much more so than some other entrepreneurs do, because we like to nurture our students and we feel for them, and we have a lot of concern for them as they go through this stressful process. As the leader of the team and as the CEO, I do have to fluctuate between masculine and feminine. But since I'm still counseling students, I do have the luxury of leaning into my femininity a little bit more.
No, that's beautiful, getting to find the balance. And Isabel, I feel like this is like your bread and butter with the retreats that you do and like the women that you pull in. I'd love to hear your take on all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like finding that balance, I think, because for me, it gets very hectic, especially when I do the retreats. I mean, he's with me all the time. So just balancing that, and also, you know, being present at the retreats is super important for me, to actually step into that feminine energy and actually being there and giving space to other people. So something I'm training on, like I'm working on, like always trying to be in now and not live in the future, and always step into that doing, because, you know, it's not always the best thing of doing. You're not going to get the results that you want by just doing. Sometimes you need to slow down and be like, okay, if I cannot do it all, then I have to outsource. So I've been much better at actually saying what I need, what I want, and outsource and get help from the people that can do certain things that I cannot longer do, to get overwhelmed, for instance, or just not doing it good enough. You know, if you want to do it all, you know, some places in your business is not going to be as good, because you cannot be it all. Having a baby, being a wife, doing food, cooking, you know, all those things. So I do believe outsourcing, and especially, you know, like if you have a business or if you have an income at all, like use those money to outsource, for instance, a cleaner. Like we have a cleaner now. He comes 3 times a week. I mean, making it easier to do certain things that you don't want to do or have time to do. That is something I would very much spend time in. Yeah, definitely.
Outsourcing is key. And you have an amazing husband, and
Yes.
Isabel, and I love you two as a couple. But I also remember you told me that your little guy just wants to be with you. So even like Hector probably wants to like take him more so you can do stuff, but maybe he starts to fuss, and like, how do you navigate that in your partnership?
Yeah, I mean, that's super, super important. I mean, I come from Sweden, right? I mean, Sweden is like, it's definitely different from the rest of the world, I think. I mean, we have equal maternity leave. We leave for at least 1 year. We have to be home with our baby. So the mother takes 6 months and the father takes 6 months, right? So we always equal. So that the dads are like with the baby as much as we. So for me in the beginning, I thought that, okay, that's how it's going to be. You know, we're going to switch. We're going to share everything. And then I realized that no, it doesn't work like that 100%, because I have the milk and I can always pump. But I also felt like I wanted to do it. Like I wanted to be with him most of the time. Like in the beginning, of course, me and Hector, we shared, for instance. He was up half of the nights. Let me sleep because I pumped in the day, because I luckily have a lot of milk supply, for instance. So I can do that. But as older he gets and the more sleep I get now, because he sleeps much better, the more time I'm like, you know what, I can take it. Don't worry. But I do believe it's important that you have a partner, for instance, that wants to not only be with the child, but help you as well. I mean, especially if you are an entrepreneur, both of you are entrepreneurs, or both of you have an income, making an income, then I do believe it's 50-50, absolutely. But it's what you can do also. If you only do milk supply and you cannot pump, for instance, that it's not going to be 50-50. But if you, for instance, have the powder milk, I don't know what it's called, then maybe you can help each other much more. You know, I think it's also very easy to, I mean, not everybody wants to do that either. I mean, I don't know how everybody's doing it. I'm not like a perfect guide for this either, but I do believe that it's very important to be honest and open about how you want to do it as a team, because it's about being a team. It's just like marriage. It's a full-time job being married. It's not going to be 50-50 every day. Some days it's 2% him and 98 me, because I need that day. And sometimes it's vice versa. So it's about being open and honest and say, I always say to Hector, like, you have to help me now. You have to take this. You have to do this, or not have to, but can you please do this? And it's also about how you say it, because sometimes we get in a mood. We are exhausted, we are drained. You know, you look in the mirror and you be like, I don't freaking recognize myself, or whatever. And it's about how you present that to your partner. I mean, I'm not his mother. I will never be his mother. I'm never going to take that role to be a mother for my husband. He is a very,
Just by the way.
No, he's a very masculine man. Like he is the fixer, he's the hero, and I love that. I don't have to be a freaking mom. So I mean, I got the jackpot on that one.
Where's he from again? He's from another country. He's like former military and has done a bunch of cool stuff, but I forget which.
Yeah, no, he's from Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Hector is from Uruguay. I'm from Sweden. We live in Costa Rica. Crazy. And our baby is actually Costa Rican now. He became a Costa Rican as soon as he was born. So it's kind of cool. No, but I also believe it's how you say it to your partner and how you actually, because I mean, Hector is my best friend. I would never treat him in such a way, but when you need help, ask for it. Like it's his child, it's my child. And when he needs help with something, I always, get it. And I think the main super important, it doesn't matter if you have kids or not, it's about knowing the role in the relationship. What is your role? What is your strength? That is something that me and Hector was very open and honest about in the beginning. Hector hates cooking. I love it. I make the meals in this house and I do not complain about it. None of us like cleaning. We outsource that thing. So we don't have to fight over something stupid as cleaning. He's good at the business part. We are business partners as well. So he does all the contracts and stuff. So I go to him, you just know your roles and be happy about it. And don't go into each other's roles and complain about it. Because if you have a role, you stand up and you do it and you don't complain. That's my, that's how I would say it.
No, that's awesome. I love all of that. That's fantastic. And Margaret, I don't know your husband. I just met you two. And so I can only imagine, like, there's just so much to unpack there. Like, is he part of your business? How did he respond to like the news of, hey babe, so we're having 5 kids. What are you doing on Tuesday? Like,
yeah. Michael is incredible. Michael and I have been married for 10 years. When we found out we were pregnant with Quints, I guess had been married for about 5 or so. He actually went silent. I say he went underwater for about 2 days. He said to me, like, I love you. Like, I want to talk about this. I just need time to process it. And so it took him. And I just said, I respect your space. Like, you take the time. I'm going to read every blog from every mom about strollers and car seats. And I'm just going to get ready because I'm a logistics person. That's my role. And then he's like the philosophy leader of the family kind of guy. So I was like, you take your time, you do all your thinking. I'm going to get us ready in case these babies make it. Because that was the thing of, like, we never knew if they were going to live or not. So that was interesting, but now he's probably doing at least 50-50, if not more than that. He's a very hands-on dad. This week I was diagnosed with pneumonia, which is not fun, by the way. And
are you feeling any better?
I am. Yes. Thank you. And he's been like, I got this. I'm going to take him to church. I'm going to take him to the park. We're going to make pancakes. Like, we're going to do everything. You go get in bed or take a bath or do whatever you want to do.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. So he is just, he thinks about me, even when I'm cranky, but I agree with Isabel. Tone of voice is everything. I've found that if I am losing it, I need to dial it back a little bit and just talk to him like I would normally talk to him, not like I say it in my head. Because
love the honesty.
it's not productive. It hurts his feelings. He's working really hard. I'm working really hard. And it's a respect thing. I think we have a great deal of respect for each other, and tone of voice is just so important in our household.
Yeah. No, that's super important. So do you have any questions for her as well, since like the whole 5 kids thing? Like, want to jump in there?
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, how did you, like, what is your stroller look like? That's what I want.
I keep thinking about that too. I'm so glad you asked. Like I wasn't the only one.
Like, do you have like 3 strollers or 2 or how
Really
many?
good question. So it depends on the venue, right? So if you're going to like the zoo, we have a 5 stroller. We had a 5 stroller when they were of stroller age. Now they're not of stroller age, but we had a stroller that looks like stair steps.
I was gonna
And
say it's like a double-decker bus sort of situation.
yeah. So you put the heaviest one in the front, the lightest one in the back, and just stacked them. And it was actually very easy to drive, but that was our 5 stroller. If there was going to be fussing and we thought there were some fussier ones with some less fussy ones, we had a 3 and a 2, put the fussy ones in a 2, put the happy ones in a 3. And then we just had a single stroller for my son because he sometimes struggles because the girls are wacko. I have 4 girls and 1 boy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So sometimes
Oh, wow.
he needs the space of like, I can't deal with that. So we have a 1 stroller for him. We just have a lot of strollers.
Oh, wow. Okay. So many questions. I'm like, did any of them have colic?
Good question. So Ava, my oldest, had a perforated bowel at birth. And so she had to have surgery to fix it. So it wasn't, I don't know if it was colic or if it was just her tummy was still developing, but she was a toughie in the beginning. And they were all so tiny. I mean, they were 3 pounds when they were born. So, I mean, granted, it's 15-pound of baby when you think about me and how huge I was.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like we should have pictures that we're sharing right now on screen.
Oh, if I could show you, it was just like a hippo. I was just a hippo of baby. But
we'll get to that question in a second.
She would have to burp her first before feeding her. There had to be a burp and then feed her halfway and then burp again and then feed her some more and then burp again and hope that she didn't throw up. So that was hard and she didn't sleep well. We had to try gripe water and Milacon and all kinds of things. And we did have the snoo. A lot of folks have the snoo, which is the bassinet that rocks your baby to sleep.
Yeah.
So we actually wrote to the company because we could not afford 5 of those. That would be like a college investment. We wrote to the company and they were very generous and they loaned us 5 for the time the children were so small.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
So we had this news for them, which was really useful.
That's beautiful. I love when people just comes together and help others. Like, wow. But so many questions. I'm like, wow. Did you breastfeed?
But did I breastfeed? I breastfed Ava, the one with the perforated bowel.
Yeah.
Because breast milk was easier for her to digest. The others were formula fed. It was just like, there was no way I could breastfeed kids. There are some moms
that's what I'm seeing. Like,
but Ava was my priority when it came to digestion. And so we really focused on her, getting her to a point where she could drink formula, but it just took a little while.
Yeah, no, I understand because I mean, 5 kids and how do you like have enough? And, I cannot even imagine like twins also.
Yeah,
I'm like, what a job.
I was just not good at breastfeeding. Like I own that 100%. There are some moms that are like super breastfeeders and like can rock it out and they have extra and they have like freezers full of breast milk. That was not me.
No, it's a job. It's really a job. Breastfeeding.
So I try to tell moms if you're not good at breastfeeding, it is okay because I stunk at it and my kids are fine.
Yeah, no, whatever works for each mom. Like we should not, especially as women, like do not judge another woman. Like don't judge people at all. Like, okay, I understand we have our own perspective. We have gone through, our own experience and that's how we handle life. But judging another mom for making decisions upon whatever works for that person, period. No questions asked. Like sometimes I am a little fed up with like the questions. It's like, I don't have to answer. So I've come to a point in my life where I'm like, I don't have to answer that. Thank you. And that's it. Awesome. I don't even have to explain myself. I have stopped explaining myself since I became a mother and it's so easy. I'm like, no, I'm not going to answer that, but thank you. Like, period. Like, I don't have to explain why I'm not going to explain myself or, answer certain questions. Just, no, I don't want to, period.
Yeah. Like high-fiving, like, yes, awesomeness. That's such a huge deal for people in general. especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. It's just like, I don't actually have to answer you.
We don't have to, and it's fine why people ask, because some people are just curious. But you know what, your curiosity is not my responsibility. So I'm just going to say, I'm not going to answer that, period.
Boundaries are beautiful.
Practice that, like practice to no, thank you.
Thank you.
I just, especially becoming a mom, it's so many, you know, you have your family, you have his family, you have everybody else, and then you have social media. And I'm like, no, just not going to do that. Period.
Yeah, no, I can well imagine just like some of the personal things that can come through the line. Okay, especially for you as well, you're like super visible in like what it is that you do. You're getting like kind of out there. Margaret, I don't know how much you're out there in media, but I feel like you're kind of a big deal, my dear. So like, I can only imagine the questions that come through to you sometimes.
Yeah. And also, you know, like people pointing fingers, and that is fine. Like I don't take things to my heart. Like I've stopped long time ago, like taking things to my heart, because people can point fingers and I really don't care. I've got enough skin on my nose for that. But I know how hurtful it can be when people, like back in the day, I used to think like, oh, I'm doing this wrong, or why is this wrong? No, it's not wrong. We all have our own perspective, and we have our own experience and knowledge. And sometimes people just tend to be like, they want to feel needed or appreciated. So they want to point finger or tell you, do this or do. And sometimes, most of the time, it just comes from their heart. Like they just want to help and make things better. But you don't always have to listen, and you don't always have to take the advice. You can just say thank you, and that's it. You don't even have to go into discussions, because period, because you don't want to.
Yeah. And I mean, and speaking of the vulnerable questions, whether or not you ladies need to or want to answer, and part of like balancing your business and your relationship and the baby, and the part that we don't talk about necessarily is the sex life after you have a baby. Like the physical recovery of your body, the time and energy, and keeping a healthy balance. So if either of you feel like you want to bring that forward in conversation, we can have that. And if you don't want to, as Isabel so beautifully held boundaries for, you don't have to.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have a problem at all, because I mean, let's talk about the sex thing, because I did have a C-section, right? A planned C-section, because my baby was very, very big. And here in Costa Rica, it's the C-section rate is very, very high in the private hospital where I gave birth, in a private hospital. And he was too big at the time of 38 weeks for me to give birth naturally, that they said. I know a lot of people have given birth naturally, and I wanted to. I begged, but it was the rules for the hospital not to take responsibility for whatever can happen at that point. So I had to go through a C-section. So I did not have anything vaginal. But recovery from a C-section was harder than I expected. I did not know. If I had known, I would have probably gone like to another hospital and just gave birth naturally, because it was really hard. I couldn't hold him for more than a week. You know, I had to have help, asking for help to put him on my breast. It was a lot of things. And, you know, like with training, and now I don't even know like what's going on. Am I healed inside? Like I still feel weird, you know, in the stomach. Anyway, so when it came to the sex, I have a very high sex drive, to be honest. And, I missed my husband a lot, because in the end, just to talk about him, he didn't feel very comfortable having sex in the end. He felt like a little like, no, what's going on in there? Like, I don't want to hit him or whatever. It's just,
right. Like, he's like, there's a live thing in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't natural for him. And I was, you know, I wanted to have sex, and I was like, okay, wow. So afterwards, the first thing I could think about, because it's been a couple of weeks, I missed him. That's my love language, like being touched and, you know, having, so I missed that, and it wasn't a problem. But one thing I will say that I'm going to be open about is it's the dryness. I've never experienced a dryness afterwards, and I know I'm breastfeeding, so usually that is normal as long as you breastfeed, to be dry. So in the beginning, I was actually very, very sad, and I was open to him, and I said, it feels different. I am sad. The first time I even cried, because afterwards it was burning a little bit. And I thought to myself, am I ever going to enjoy sex again? Because it's so important for me.
Yeah.
And I asked him, does it feel, do you feel it? Like, is it normal for you? And he's like, it feels exactly the same. I enjoy it. And I was like, oh, it burns. So actually getting one of those lube would actually help. That is super, super important. Of course, today, I really do not have the same time to have sex every other day as before. And that is normal. And neither does him, because he's tired. I'm tired. It's a new life. You have also a baby to take care of. It's like they're calm before. But that is something I would share, like the dryness, it hurt in the beginning. It's, you have to make time also in the relationship, because for me, I think it's very, very important that you take time for your significant others. Sometimes you might not even feel like you want to, but maybe you can please in other ways, just to have that relationship. I mean, I would be very, very sad if my husband would like completely turn me off and not wanting to be with me in that way, because that would be horrible. So making time for each other, it's hard in the beginning. It's super hard. I mean, when are you going to have the time? And you don't know, is it going to wake up? And you're tired. Your hair is not fixed. You haven't put makeup on. You maybe haven't taken a shower in 3 days. Who knows? But it's about taking that little extra time for yourself. Also, the sex life you have with yourself. It's not only with your spouse, but taking that time for yourself whenever you can. That's my advice.
I really appreciate you bringing that forward, Isabel. And I think that for some women out there, from what I've heard and talking to different friends that I've had, it's the body image that you have and feeling like you can be attractive for your spouse, and that you feel good inside of yourself with what's going on after giving birth, and that things are different. They do feel different. And especially if you're also like an older mother, right? Because as we're aging, we're also like becoming drier. Like I'm 41 and I've even started to experience that as well. And it's like, for me, it's awkward with lovers and being just like, I feel like I should be more wet right now because I am turned on, but my body's not like producing like it once was. It's like, have I drank enough water today? And
yeah,
it's just like, all right, these are our bodies, and how do we create healthy conversation with the people that we're engaging with? And have like grace and patience and be like, it's okay. And like them have compassion and like be patient and like loving and adapting however needs to be done in those situations. So
yeah, absolutely. And just being, practicing being honest, practicing being comfortable talking about uncomfortable things. I mean, it's you come to a point. I mean, I'm very open. I'm just like a book, but I know a lot of people are not. They don't like to talk about their fantasies or what doesn't feel good or not. But it's about practicing being uncomfortable in those about those subjects, because it's something that you, at the end of the day, are supposed to enjoy. Something like sex and being comfortable in your own body and skin. I know also my body has changed since the pregnancy, but it's something also very beautiful being pregnant and just having, I mean, I have a huge scar on my stomach, and it's like, that's just me now. I gave birth to a child. I kept a child alive for 9 months. I nurture it. I gave birth to it, and I am keeping it alive. Like, it's beautiful. Like, we have an incredible body for doing such a thing. And I do believe that most husbands or boyfriends or men will look at that and be like, she created this human being, thank you. Like, if he's not, I mean, then put him in a trash can and throw him out. No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously, it's so important. It's so important to, and also give that to yourself, because I mean, we can want validation and appreciation from other people, but that's just going to go as far as it can. Giving yourself the love, like force yourself in the beginning, stand naked and tell yourself, because it's about, reprogramming your subconscious mind as well, like saying it out loud, like, I'm proud of you. Just start with that. Like, I'm proud of you. Look yourself in the eye. It sounds very cliche, but I had to do that in the beginning. I mean, I am a confidence coach, and I had to say that in the beginning and remind myself what a badass woman I am, and say that out loud, like, you're beautiful. Like, I love that scar. You gave birth to Ian. Like, I'm so proud of you. And I do that. And I would say that to every woman that feels like uncomfortable in your skin. Look at yourself, give yourself some appreciation. Like, don't wait for somebody else to comfort you with that, because that is your job and your happiness and your self-love. Super important.
Preach it, girl. Yes. I love it. And it's just, I feel so much gratitude for you, both of you ladies today.
You're
Your vulnerability and yeah.
Hey.
Margaret, would you like to say anything to all of
Sure. For me, it was body image, because when you are pregnant with multiples, you have to eat about 5,000 calories a day in order to sustain the pregnancy, which is not fun. And I gained about 120 pounds with children. So I went from being fit and comfortable and happy in my own skin to disgusted with myself. And I agree with Isabel. It's all about communication and sharing that with your partner. I think he's not disgusted with me at all. But for me to have to, feel sexy, that's a real challenge for me. That because my body is so different. There are some parts that are never going to come back. And just being able to say to him, I don't feel like myself, like I want to do things with you, but it's just harder for me right now. And it's gotten easier as we've moved beyond birth and that sort of thing. But the self-confidence issue is real, and it was and is still a challenge for me.
Thank you so much for your vulnerable share. I really appreciate your bravery.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That is so honest.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I whistled at that mostly just because of for me, when I had my second back surgery, I gained a lot of weight, and there was so much inflammation from the pain and then the steroids. And I remember at one point when it was like wearing a skin suit. Like, it was so tight and it was just pushing out, and it's like you couldn't escape it. And it is a terrible feeling to be inside of your body when you feel like that. And so when you said 120 pounds, like, I was whistling, because I was like, I can't even imagine having like gained that for myself and felt that in my body. And it's just like, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about the communication that we talked about before, like saying that to your spouse. And I mean, if you have, a decent or like an amazing spouse, they will understand where you're coming from. And having, have to deal with all of that for 5 kids, giving birth and being so strong in yourself and actually doing that is an incredible accomplishment, like amazing. Seriously, like, so he must look at you and be like, this is a Wonder Woman. That's how I would look at you. I would be like, that's my freaking Wonder Woman right there. Girl, you got it.
Yeah.
I think you're beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think you're both beautiful, but it's just like inside and outside and all the amazing things that you do.
Yeah, no, but what it comes down to, it's about, doing that inner work, because it doesn't matter, if you lose all those pounds and do all operation, whatever, if you have a bad body image about yourself, it doesn't matter how many surgeries, how many pounds you lose, whatever, it's about yourself. Yeah. And it's about that work. We need to take responsibility, because we have that power to change that body image, and be confident for where we are today, and not changing everything about ourselves. I mean, we have had babies, for God's sake.
That's true. Do you have, do either of you have any questions, any things that you would like to put out there for other moms? If you'd like to give anything like that?
I think we've hit most of it.
I know, I'm like, we've been on for an hour.
It was an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Ooh, my light.
Would either of you like to give your contact information for any other moms out there who might want to reach out, ask you questions, or be supportive, or anything along those lines?
Of course. Yeah. Anybody's welcome to email me. I'm on email more than I should be. And my email is my maiden name, Bolton, Bolt as in Tom, ON .Margaret, MARGARET, and the letter H. So bolton.margaret@gmail.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Margaret. I really appreciate you.
Yeah. And I will absolutely, do you have Instagram, Margaret?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, I will add you there. Could you maybe put that in the group or something so we can all get it and share it? Yeah, you feel free to contact me at info@izzyrodriguez.com. Izzy with SSY, Rodriguez with a set in the end.com.
Got it.
Beautiful. All right, we'll make sure and we'll put that up with the live recording for the replay that people can put in. If you end up watching this later, please put #replay so that we can know that you popped in. As always, if anybody's interested in being on the show or doing empowerment coaching with me with or without horses, please do contact me at www.globalequineaffiliates.com. So as always, thank you so much for watching. It was such a pleasure to get to have amazing ladies and little Ian joining us here today. And everybody out there, until next time, we will see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.